Okay, so before we run all the power cables, we pretty much have all the other cables in place that we're going to need. So I'm going to go ahead and tie these down before we decide to put all the power cables in. And this is actually pretty straightforward. You just kind of bunch things together because they're pretty much already where I want them to be. So just kind of have to tighten it up. It's actually pretty easy to do if you do it the right way. So I'll start by grouping that whole section together. And the motherboard, or the case rather, has some little hooks for you to run these cable ties through to make things a little easier. Yeah. It's tedious work, but somebody's got to do it. If you want it to look good anyways. We don't half-ass these kind of things over here at Chicagoland Geeks. See? That wasn't so bad. Now, to keep that going, I think we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we just did for that. This time over here on this clip, just like that. That's going to allow us to generally get things where we want them. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be so you can lay things flat. When it comes time to put that side panel on, you don't want to pile too many cables on top of each other. Try to get them lay as flat as possible, like that. Alright. Okay. Now we have all this extra stuff here. Looks like we can get it down on that one. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll take the remainder, take one of these cable ties. We are going to go this route with them. Boom. Look at that. All those cables with 3 zip ties. Flat and out of the way. Now we need to do the same thing for the SATA cables. So for that, since they're already pretty much where we want them to be, we kind of just take whatever slack we got, which is going to be all this. All that is going to end up right there. So let's start with the black ones. One. Then for sanity's sake, I am going to tie this red one off by itself. Okay. And remember, the goal is always just to keep things laying flat, as flat as possible, and you can kind of get an idea if it's going to close or not just by kind of looking at it sideways. Those can all go in there. Alright, that looks good. I'm going to tie that one up too, just so the 4-pin stays back there. I don't want it to float freely. There it is. Just like that. There we go. All right. Well, there's all our peripheral connections. Now it's time for the power connections. So with these, I'm going to go ahead and start with the biggest stuff first. First one being the power supply cable. Okay. I'll go ahead. And plugging these modular cables into the power supply is really easy because they only go in one way. You really can't screw it up. The tricky part though is hiding this wire without overdoing it. Probably have to go that route since the 24 pin is up here. Most people just throw it in the case, let it lay however it ends up. I can't have that. I cannot do it. Alright, that's in. So this is probably going to be the hardest cable to tie down. But I think we're going to get lucky in that respect because I have plenty of room this way to do it. We could just tie that to anything really. I'm going to go ahead and tie that down over here. That should be mostly out of the way. I probably should have gone on the other side of these SATA cables. Like that. Yep, there we go. That looks good. That will close. Okay. There's that. Now let's do our video card connectors next. Those are going to go lower than this one. So we can actually, I'm going to go under these. Like that. Yeah. We also need to get our CPU in the same spot. Go that way. That's our CPU. Alright, CPU's in. PCIe number 1 is about to be in. Alright, there's that. So, we really don't have to do anything with the CPU. I'll just Make sure those lay flat. I'm going to go ahead and zip tie this. You know it's not really zip tying to anything, just still. Here's our PCIe stuff. And we'll have that come out of here. So I wanted to snake around this stuff. So we'll go here with it. Or actually, we're gonna go higher with it. So if we do that, it will allow me to use these cables to put some pressure on the video card. And it will allow it to, so we could pull it up a little bit. All right, there's one. And for this one, we have to use a 6-pin and an 8-pin, which are conveniently located on the same wire. So that works out really good. And this will allow us, like I was saying, put some pressure on the video card. We could pull it up a little bit, save us some trouble. Get rid of some of that video card sag. It's so long and heavy. You know, that's what she said. I'm actually breaking a sweat doing this. It doesn't seem like you would. There we go. That's about the amount of pressure I want on it. Just like that. And now you'll be able to see once we do finally flip it back over. Just doing that is really gonna help with the video card sag. All right. And now we need some peripheral connectors, SATA. Which is usually even easier to hide than the other stuff. I don't want to overload that spot over there with the peripheral connectors. So we're going to go ahead and how many do we have? 3 per. Number 1, I think we're just going to I kind of get lazy when it comes to this one because it's pretty easy just to tuck the remainder underneath the hard drive, keep it out of the way. We have 1 here. We have 2 here. All right, our power cables for our hard drives. Now we need another one for our solid state drives. Okay. This one we are going to snake around right there since it's flat. We're going to end up coming out here with them. We have 1 and 2. Now for this one, I'm just going to find some kind of room to tie this off with. I think just off of one of these SATA cables here. That should be enough to keep it flat and out of the way. Yep. That will do. All right, last one. And it's a shame that we have to waste all this cable just for the one optical drive, but what can you do? Well, this one's usually easy enough. We'll go the same route with this one. Okay. Okay. And for this, make sure it lays flat and then zip it. Whew. There we go. All right. Now, the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and first attempt to put on our backside. Because if we can't do that, we have to move wires around. Boom. There we go. Boom. Everything's in. There you have it. Now, if we did this correctly, I should be able to plug it in and it turn on. Let's see what happens. Okay, here it goes. It's on. I hear the water pump. I hear it initializing the hard drives. The water's flowing. It's got our little light on for our cooler. And at this point, I think we are good.